Dan,
What's up?
man, you look so fucking good today. I will say this, I don't know how you got that hat, and I don't have that hat.
I think I've actually got another one in there if you want.
Yeah, well, I've never been offered one. Maybe I just haven't earned it.
Well, no, you certainly haven't. But I found this one. Actually, our merch guy brought me this one in Nashville.
It's badass.
So I don't know if we actually had any of these sent before, but I'm pretty sure I brought one home, an extra one for you.
Do you do merch to the same place that Rob O'Neill does?
I don't know where he does his,
I don't either.
but I do need to hook him up with our liquor attorney. She's awesome, and he's got the whatever
Beer
booze
brewing?
now. What's it called?
I don't know. Armed Forces Brewing.
Yeah, Armed Forces Brewing. Yeah, I haven't tried it.
Let's start our own liquor company. You want to?
No,
Why?
too much work.
Well,
I feel like I'm getting dragged in all separate directions lately.
yeah, me
And
too.
I really need to just focus on how incredibly shitty all of the leaders of our country are.
Well, they're shitty.
Yeah. I mean, that was on full display this week in a number of ways. Before we get to the Armed Services Committee hearing, which is what we're going to be talking about today, and when I say Armed Services Committee hearing, what I really mean is General Milley. General Milley. He's not a real fucking human being to me.
You know what I like to call him? Fat Millie.
Yeah, Fat Milley. Lloyd Austin, who's a fucking cartoon character, and Frank McKenzie, who doesn't believe that holding Bagram Air Base was relevant or necessary, right? So before we get into all these cunts and how terrible they are as military leaders and how bad they are as human beings, let's talk about this trope that you hear often. And it's, to be honest, I understand it because it's one of the things, it was one of the last, I guess, pedals, if we're playing Frogger, that I was standing on before I just jumped into traffic.
Let me guess. I bet I can guess which one you're talking about.
Okay.
We need more veterans in Congress.
Right. Exactly.
How about that?
Do we need more veterans? Let's look at the veterans who are running for Congress. It's either some knucklehead conspiracy type, or it's somebody who
extremist,
or an officer, right?
Hold on. Here we go.
An officer and an extremist. That's a good fucking title. It is amazing to me that we have
we have 91 veterans in Congress.
91 out of the 435 members of Congress are veterans.
Yeah, 20.
To my understanding, not one of these motherfuckers
I haven't heard any.
has stood up and said a goddamn word about the fact that Lieutenant Colonel Scheller is being held indefinitely without being charged by the United States military because he asked for accountability. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, you know, when they were questioning Milley and all these turds and Austin and McKenzie the last couple of days, every single one of these Republican speeches started out with, their questioning started out with some little speech they had so they could get their fucking highlight reel in. Yeah. Ask them questions and get them on the record answering the fucking questions.
It's not about you,
stupid cunt.
Damn, holy shit.
God damn.
So you got 91 veterans in the 117th Congress. Let me give you a little stats here, right? 17 in the Senate, 74 in the House. Daniel Crenshaw, Dan. I think it surely is Daniel. It's got to be Daniel.
I don't know if anybody's name is just Dan.
I mean, yeah. But anyways, Dan Crenshaw. Ain't heard anything. And I even looked on his Instagram yesterday because, you know, usually he's pretty popular on Instagram. Heard nothing about it. 74 will serve in the House. 28 are Democrats. 63 are Republicans. 13 served in the military in the 1960s or earlier. 50 served in the military after 2000. They
served in the 1960s or earlier? That means they're in their 80s.
13 of them. 50 served in the military after 2000. So there's 50 of them in there that are our generation.
50 of the 91. So a little more than half are GWAT veterans.
More than half. 49 had overseas combat deployments. Wow. 15 are first-time lawmakers. 6 are women. A decrease from one last Congress. 44 served in the Army.
So 15 of the 50 that 15 of the 50 new people, that is from the current wars, are junior Congress. This is their first term, so they're 2 years in.
Yeah.
At 1 year in.
15 of them, yeah. 44 served in the Army, Army Reserve, or Army National Guard. 15 served in the Air Force, Air Force Reserve, or Air National Guard. 15 served in the United States Marine Corps, URA. 17 served in the Navy, or Navy Reserve. None served in the Coast Guard. That's not even really the military anyways. Texas, I'm just kidding about that, Coast Guard. We love you. Texas has the most veterans in their state delegation with 9. 12 states have no veterans in their state delegation. And then I've got the full list of people who are in it. And
yeah, so 91 of the 435 in Congress right now are veterans. That is a bigger representation than the representation we have in the regular population, right?
Yeah.
So there's 23 million veterans in this country, and about 300, let's just say it's 330 million people. That is about 7%, 6.9%, which is pretty funny, actually. 91 divided by 435 is 21%. So 7% of the U.S. population is a veteran of the armed services, and 21% of Congress are veterans. And still, we cannot get one of these motherfuckers to stand up and say something, to stand up for their men and women in uniform.
Because it's not about them.
Yeah.
It's not about anybody else. It's about themselves.
Yeah, it's all it's ever been. It's about money and power and control and ego, and that's it. Do not trust any of these motherfuckers. Not one. And people often tell me or ask me, like, well, what about this guy? What about this guy? Show me what they did, right? Come to me with a list of the things they did. Give me a list of, it's not up to me to prove a negative, why I shouldn't support someone. You should tell me why I should support someone, not the other way around. It's your case to make, not mine. So I'm tired of defending this position. All politicians are cunts until you can fucking prove otherwise. And I haven't seen anybody that does that yet.
Me either.
So getting into the show. The hearing this week, earlier this week, so Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they're going to be answering questions for the record that'll be posted somewhere on some dark corner of the internet at some point for none of us to read, unless somebody goes and fucking finds it.
Yeah.
Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman Mark Milley, who is a piece of shit, garbage human being, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, who is the same, and U.S. Central Command General Frank McKenzie, who might be the dumbest motherfucker of the three, testified before Senate Armed Services Committee, regarding their handling of the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. Now, if you remember, about 2 weeks ago, I believe, 2 or 3 weeks ago, this committee requested the plan of action from Lloyd Austin.
And he still ain't had it.
Still haven't seen that yet.
Well, it takes hold on. It takes a minute to write it up.
Yeah, as General Bullock said, they're doing the paperwork right now. Along with answering questions about the withdrawal from Afghanistan, Milley was also questioned about reports that he may have circumvented his chain of command and sending reassurances to his Chinese counterpart. We all know that story. Milley, by the way, denied that. And then Trump called him a weak sister on Afghanistan, which is stupid. That is a dumb Trump thing to say.
Yeah.
But Milley's position was that the administration knew that I was making these phone calls. It's not a secret. Like, yeah, the fact that you were making calls to your counterparts is not a secret. The fact that you told the Chinese fucking Joint Chief that if something goes down, we're going to let you know about it. That's the fucking problem, dude. And he tried to massage the language and make it sound like he didn't say that. Well, but this is if you take that in a vacuum, maybe that's believable, Milley. Well, but if you add the fact that he was going behind closed doors trying to remove Trump's access to nuclear codes. It's a two-key system, by the way. We all know that, right?
Yeah,
How the nuclear thing works.
It's
you break cards, you get your fucking key, your code out, you put your code in, you put your keys in, you twist them both at the same time. It has to happen like that. Two people.
So here,
God damn it.
So here's what I want to say. So look, here's the reality of General Milley. General Milley has placed himself. He is trying to make it about him. He's trying to. I mean, he's done this under the Trump administration. He came in. He made this. Tried to put himself in a position where he was in control of the nuclear football. Right? You remember all that shit where it was like, well, they don't trust Trump, so the nuclear football has been changed. Remember all those things coming out around the January 6th stuff? Like, so worried. And Milley's tried to make him a spot in as far as politically, right?
Yeah.
And so as a Joint Chief, I did some research on this because I had to talk about it on Fox yesterday. But so as a Joint Chief, you're really not in charge of anybody. You're not in charge of anyone. You're not in chain of command of anything. You are literally just an advisor to the president, right? You don't even have any power of anything because the Joint Chiefs, that's why they're there. You're literally just an advisor to the President of the United States. So no power. Milley has tried to give himself fucking power everywhere he can. He's tried to make himself relevant. And here's the thing. This is my problem with Milley. Is when Milley gave this advice about, he didn't agree or, about, let's say he gave this advice about trying to stay in Afghanistan.
Right.
Or keeping, 2,500 or whatever troops there. When the president didn't do that, and he's seen that this was going to be catastrophic, Milley had the obligation to step down and resign and protest and say exactly why, because like that could have saved 13 lives. It could have saved and thousands of Afghan lives, but he didn't. He chose to stay in the job. Yeah. He chose to go along with politics, and therefore General Milley is a fucking piece of garbage and should be in prison. How does he walk out? How does he walk out from the Senate floor? From the Senate floor admitting that he called China, and you've got how are they not investigating this? How do we not know?
Sergeant of Guard take him into custody right there.
How do we not know that this man is not an informant for China?
Yeah.
How do we not know that he is part of? You talk about collaboration. I mean, how do you know that this is the only time he's done this? How do you know this is the only thing that you don't think for 1 second that China hasn't got him by the tip of their fingertips and they're working him? Does that not concern anybody? Or is that just me? I get it.
If you look back at Mattis, as soon as he went anti-Trump, he started getting fucking job offers all over the place. You know what I mean? One of which is at the Cohen Group, started by former Defense Secretary William Cohen. And the Cohen Group has 4 offices, as I've said before, 2 of them in China. And what that organization specializes in is connecting American and Chinese businesses together.
Yep.
Right? Why would we expect anything different from Milley? He's walking the same path that General fucking Slackjaw Chaos Mattis walked. And he's trying to fucking play the same game, man. That's all it is.
And let me get you, here's a little more information on the type of guy McKenzie is.
McKenzie or Milley?
McKenzie. Let's talk about McKenzie.
Well, he's McKenzie. This is so. One of the big revelations from this last couple of days is that McKenzie confirmed during the hearing on Wednesday that top Taliban officials offered the U.S. control of Kabul to conduct evacuation operations, meaning the entire city of Kabul.
Yeah.
We would have deployed more troops there, secured that area. We would have been running the checkpoints instead of the Taliban. But the United States government said no. While taking questions from Representative Mike Gallagher, McKenzie confirmed a report from August that stated that the Taliban leader Abdul Ghani Baradar offered the U.S. full control of Kabul while evacuation operations were completed. The report went on to claim that McKenzie and Baradar eventually agreed that the Taliban would control the city while the U.S. military would remain in control of HKIA, the airport. In McKenzie's own words, I met with Mullah Baradar on, I don't know why he uses an honorific title for this guy. Fuck Baradar. Jesus Christ. I met with Baradar on 15 August to pass a message to him that we were withdrawing. As part of that conversation, Baradar said, well, why don't you just take security of all of Kabul? That was not why I was there. That was not my instruction, and we did not have the resources to undertake that mission. So we don't have a 1.3 million person standing army.
Yeah, no.
We don't have Division Ready Force 1 and 2 in the 82nd Airborne that can deploy in a fucking 48, 72 hours notice and get there immediately.
There wasn't enough money to be made.
We don't have a MEU. We don't have fucking JSOC. We don't have fucking planes or ships or anything.
So this is the type of fucking shithead McKenzie is. So this was in 2004, coming from one of my buddies who was a sergeant major, real known sergeant major. So in 2004, Lieutenant Colonel. Have you heard of Assad Genghis Khan? So
some dude named himself after Genghis Khan.
Yeah. So he was Lieutenant Colonel.
That's a bold move, isn't it?
Dude, so he was. So get this. So he was Lieutenant Colonel, 2004.
Genghis Khan, by the way, has got 45 million living descendants
of 1/6 infantry. So this guy was relieved. This lieutenant colonel was relieved by Colonel McKenzie, who was over the 22nd MEU. This is why he was relieved. You ready? For foul language. This is 2004 in the height of the war.
The beginning of the war.
Beginning of the war. For foul language, stern leadership, and stripping the ISIS fighters of the battlefield in Afghanistan. The Marines, and this is what the sergeant major wrote. The Marines loved Khan and hated McKenzie.
Of course, that's always how it goes. This guy's a total piece of shit. Always has been, and clearly is not intent on changing that anytime soon. When he was asked to offer, if the offer to remain in control of Kabul was relayed to Biden, McKenzie stated the following: "The offer was made in the presence of the president's special representative in Afghanistan." So, the president's guy was there, and the Taliban offered to let us, and that in itself is a fucking crazy statement to make, because fuck those guys, right? But they offered to let us remain in control of Kabul and get our people out. 13 U.S. service members are dead because McKenzie is a fucking idiot and Biden is a fucking idiot, period, right? Take some fucking responsibility for
how
shit.
Do they not get fired?
I don't know. McKenzie went on to say he was unaware of whether the offer was reported to the White House. Now, here's what I really want to ask. And we'll get to this later with the Milley statements about 2,500 troops. Biden says that the generals agreed with him not to leave troops back there. And Milley and these other guys, McKenzie and Austin, testified under oath that they said to keep troops there. Now, these are the top 3 generals, right? And he said, well, it was a mixture of things. So is Biden lying, or do these 3 men need to go to fucking prison for perjury? Which one is it?
I mean, I think there's enough. I mean, what else? I mean, I think they should go to prison for murder.
That's a hard charge to make.
I think.
But I get it. I mean, it's their dereliction of duty led directly to the deaths of 13 U.S. service members.
I think. What is it? A 15-6? Is that what it is? Are they doing one on this?
You mean a fucking investigation? Who the fuck knows? Come on, man. Of course not.
If they do, you not think there should be?
Yeah, of course there should be.
I want to know if there's a direct loss of life due to leadership.
The Taliban control of Kabul greatly interfered with U.S. attempts to evacuate American citizens and allies. We all know that. And the Taliban security failed to stop ISIS terrorists from carrying out the attack on the airport that killed 14 U.S. service members. I just want to bring it back to that. We knew for a fact who this guy was because the CIA had him in custody for 4 years. And the Taliban released him from that prison where all the ISIS dudes came from. We knew where he was, that he was planning to attack, and we knew when he was planning to attack. And this isn't this fucking Griffin lady who's got sources at the Pentagon can say all the fucking bullshit she want. I've talked to 3 JSOC people. Huh?
Kathy Griffin.
I think it's Jennifer.
Jennifer, yeah.
Griffin? Yeah, Jennifer Griffin.
Kathy Griffin's off of
Family Guy.
Family Guy, yeah. Same shit.
I don't know if Kathy Griffin is on Family Guy.
Yeah.
No, Kathy
Lois.
Griffin.
Lois.
Peter and Lois.
Peter and Lois.
I don't know who
Kathy Griffin is the one
redhead
the comedian
with A$AP Rocky.
Is she the comedian?
Oh, Kathy Griffin is the one that had Trump's severed head or whatever. Bush. Who was?
But she had sex with who?
A black rapper, A$AP Rocky.
When?
A while ago.
Well, she's got breast cancer now, so
that's unfortunate for her.
Yeah, hopefully she gets better.
Thoughts
and prayers.
At any rate, these people can say whatever they want. We've confirmed with JSOC personnel, not their fucking leadership, that they had this motherfucker, they had a predator on this dude ready to pop his ass, and we just let it happen. So that right there is dereliction. I mean, I don't know what else you call that shit. Like, how do you refer to that? If you've got a shot on a guy that you know is ISIS because you had him in custody for 4 years, and you know that he's planning an attack, and you don't take him down, where's the accountability for that?
How do these guys sleep in bed at night?
I doubt they have much trouble because they're sociopaths, frankly.
Yeah.
They certainly didn't seem all that upset about the 10 innocent people they killed.
And they put Scheller in jail.
Yeah. They didn't have any problem with murdering 10 people, including 7 children. But if you ask for accountability, go to jail. Right to jail, as Fred Armisen would say. You've seen that, right?
No, but I played Monopoly.
On Parks and Rec?
No, but I played Monopoly.
You've seen that, right? On Parks and Rec? Fred Armisen's character from Venezuela. You sweater, right to jail. It's one of the best scenes of all time. It's so fucking funny.
Right to jail.
Yeah, right to jail. You undercook chicken or overcooked chicken, right to jail. Overcooked fish, right to jail.
It's kind of like the No Soup for You from
yeah, it's
Seinfeld.
a good play. So apparently, one of the other things that came out from this whole situation is that the U.S. still reserves the right to attack targets in Afghanistan. So in response, before we move on from that, I just want to say this. Instead of accepting the Taliban's offer that McKenzie and the special envoy from the president declined, we gave the Taliban a list of names of U.S. citizens and green card holders.
You don't think that was on purpose?
For a fact, it was on purpose.
Yeah.
All this shit happened on purpose. And what were the results of that? One, we still haven't gotten all our people out. Still. Not even the citizens, much less the green card holders. Two, as you heard on Drinking Bros last week from the gentleman we had in here, the family members of those green card holders were being captured and beaten. This man's dad was beaten to death by the Taliban at one of the checkpoints because they were looking for him. You know what I mean? That is the real human cost of their cowardice and incompetence. Just want to be clear about that. So, moving on. In response to a question from Senator Tommy Tuberville, which is a ridiculous name, about the future of U.S. military involvement in Afghanistan, General McKenzie said that the U.S. reserves the right to go in after ISIS and al-Qaeda targets as they present themselves. McKenzie stated the following. We've been very clear on all that. It will not be easy to do that. But it will be possible to do that. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean. It won't be easy because we don't have anybody there anymore. So we're going to have to fly into their airspace. And by the way, they've got the anti-air shit that we left. God damn it. Defense Secretary Austin added the following. We recognize that transnational terrorists will migrate towards ungoverned spaces. We are also committed to not allowing al-Qaeda to regenerate and be able to export terror from Afghanistan to the United States of America, and will remain laser-focused on that going forward. Hopefully a little bit more laser-focused than you were on this evacuation or the planning of it or anything else you've done in your fucking career, you fat cunt. Jesus Christ, what a piece of shit this guy is. This is exactly what's going to happen. Al-Qaeda, ISIS, whomever it is going to develop inside of Afghanistan. They're going to use the profits from selling drugs.
For sure.
Right? They're going to use the profits from
the
selling...
money that we gave them.
Yeah, the money that we give them, they're going to repurpose the same way that Palestine has. And they're going to fucking sell the tech that we left behind to China and Russia, and they're going to use it against us, and they're going to get paid for it. It's fucking dope, dude. I mean, you cannot fucking make a worse plan than this. It's like you see a guy standing out in the middle of a semi-frozen lake, and he's got a big-ass axe in his hand, and he just keeps chopping at the ice. And you're like, hey, dude, that's not a good idea.
That's not a good idea.
You're going to that ice will break. You're going to go under, and you're going to take all of us with you. And he's like, no, I got it, man. It's like a fucking redneck. Like, hey, y'all, watch this. As he fucking dusts his mullet back, you know what, and chugs a beer and jumps on a fucking dirt bike. Drives off a fucking cliff. Thanks, General Milley. Thanks. All you stupid bitches. I think the most truly...
What do you think? I just made this post on my Instagram. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
People are always saying we need more veterans in Congress. Well, I haven't heard any of the ones that are there now stepping up for Lieutenant Colonel Scheller.
Yeah. That's
What do you
a
think?
reasonable thing to say.
What do you think?
I think no one's going to say shit.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah. The most truly remarkable thing that I heard from this entire thing so far, and there's still more to come because there's stuff that's going to have to get answered on the record that they ran out of time on and shit like that, but the most truly remarkable thing I heard was McKenzie saying keeping Bagram open was impossible. Senator Jackie Rosen asked McKenzie about the possibility of keeping Bagram Air Base open to aid in evacuation efforts. McKenzie stated that with less than 2,500 troops in Afghanistan, the military lost the ability to hold the air base. And by the way, the U.S. has more than 2,500 people in their military. You know that, right?
Huh?
Like we just assign that number. It's like you showing up to help somebody move, and you're like, well, the two of us can't do it ourselves. Let's just go home. No, you fucking get more people, asshole.
Do you think
the job is what gets done?
Do you think I should say tag your favorite veteran congressman?
Yeah, do it. Fuck those people.
Fuck them, right?
At least maybe they'll fucking get up off their ass and start doing their jobs. McKinsey said this: it was not feasible to hold Bagram Airport. There was no way we were going to be able to keep Bagram and go to effective zero in Afghanistan. It was inevitable that we were going to have to come out of Bagram because we ended up with 650 Marines and soldiers of the country. It was not feasible to hold Bagram under those circumstances. And there was another thing he said.
Well, it's definitely not when you let the Taliban do whatever the fuck they want, is it?
Yeah.
Huh?
I mean,
it's kind of fucking hard.
They set these conditions for themselves unnecessarily. Well, Trump said he hasn't been president in a while.
Trump did it. I mean, why the fuck are you still
Christ.
talking about Donald Trump?
Yeah, you're still like that. That's fucked up, man. That's like being in a goddamn relationship and you're continuously blaming your ex for your current bad behavior. McKinsey said he didn't see any utility to holding Bagram Air Base. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know how the military works? The thing that is truly remarkable and distinguishes us, our military, against all other, is air superiority. We know that's why we can send four-man teams out into the middle of nowhere, because we know we can put a UAV and ISR over the top of them. We know we can drop a bomb.
When have you ever? Hold on, but when have you ever seen these? Like, first off, why are we talking about the Taliban like they want to fight?
Yeah.
Like, at what point? I mean, what do you mean 600 Marines? Wait, they went in. Hold on. How many did they go into and take over the entire country of Afghanistan with? 12? Was it 12? Pretty sure it was 12 horsemen.
It wasn't a lot.
12 horsemen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, are you
12 horsemen with air support.
Air support,
by the way, right?
Are you fucking kidding me? So, you've got 650 Marines and soldiers in the country. You couldn't hold Bagram off with 650?
Yeah, I mean, what's this assault you're looking at right there? Bagram is the dominant air base in that entire region.
Dude.
Not just in Afghanistan. And we'll get to more of that as well. This was pretty funny, too. Milley said that staying past August 31st was risky. Milley told Senator Angus King that risk to the U.S. military remaining American citizens in Afghanistan would drastically increase in September if military forces remain past August 31st deadline. So the Taliban said get out, and our general, our special forces, infantry CIB with a fucking second tour star on his fucking CIB was scared of the Taliban.
Yeah.
It was going to be risky. Not riskier than abandoning our major air base. Not riskier than allowing the Taliban to control Kabul instead of us.
Hey.
Are you fucking idiot?
Hold on, check it out, Dan. I don't know. You know what the problem is? This is we figured it out right here. You just came up with it. Maybe did anyone not tell these guys that war's kind of risky?
No, I guess not. I mean,
war's risky, guys.
This is Milley jumped into Panama.
Milley is fucking stupid. Like, I can't even stand to look at. Did you see him get smart with Congress yesterday?
Yeah, he was trying to be a smart ass.
I serve at the
pleasure of the president.
Pleasure of the president. I bet you do whenever he's fucking jerking off on you.
Yeah,
fucking
Milley went on to tell Elizabeth Warren.
Milley is garbage.
Excuse me. That casualties to U.S. forces would have been a near certainty should they stay beyond the deadline. You mean like the 13 deaths we saw, right? Because of your incompetence.
Yeah.
The Joint Chiefs Chairman estimated that by September 1st, U.S. would have to go to engage with the 6,000 Taliban in Kabul. Good. Fucking kill every single one of them.
Every one of them.
Jesus Christ, man. You kill your enemy. That's the number one rule in war. Fuck. Milley stated we would have to had to clear Kabul. We'd have to reseize Bagram and the 30 miles of road between Bagram and Kabul. That would have taken a significant amount of force. That's like setting your house on fire and be like, hey, I can't go in there now. It's on fire. Bitch, you set it on fire. You fucking kidding me? That's your excuse?
Yeah, I mean,
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what they did is they sit here and drilled holes in the boat, sank the boat, and then when they saved, when they were able to save, 5 of them and not 10, they celebrated that. Oh, look, we saved 5.
Yeah, you did hear that one Democratic senator say, "Oh, I just wanted to applaud you guys on the most successful, maybe the largest extraction of human beings in the history of the world." I mean, goddamn. Well, Jesus fucking Christ. According to Milley, the operations would have resulted in significant American casualties and an increased risk to American citizens still in Afghanistan. Dude, if you had just accepted the responsibility to have security over all of Kabul, we would have gotten all of our people out already.
But
already.
But let me
they would already be gone.
But let me say this. It's easier. I don't want to say it's easier. It's more. It's less of a struggle to swallow when we lose people on the offense than we do on the fucking defense and as we're running away.
Yeah, these dudes should read The Art of War, to be honest. You dictate the terms of battle. You make the enemy fight you on your turf and your time and place of choosing. This is basic day one shit.
You don't
You fight the enemy at a 3-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
This is stuff that's in the fucking blue book, that's in the original infantry book, man, that has existed for hundreds of years just here in America since we've existed. That blue book has been around. And I'll say this about the leadership in this country. Like, how could these guys be so fucking pathetic? Here's what it is. The general, this is a problem, and we've all known it for a while. We talked about it with General Bullock last week, and we've been talking about it for a long time. The General Officer Corps in America is a spineless, politically driven behemoth that doesn't have the guts to be accountable to the American people and stand up for their own men. That's it. They're fucking pussies. And the real question is, how could we have even gotten here? I talked about this on Tucker the other night. How could we even, how we have gone from Eisenhower to Milley is it's a mystery unless you're really paying attention. But it's not really a mystery. The left in this country has consistently and continually over the last 25 years chipped away at all the institutions that protect America. Police, the military, now Border Patrol, masculinity itself. You know what I mean? And now they're using all the division that they've created to gerrymander the ranks of all these institutions that protect us. All the General Officer Corps, they're a bunch of fucking politically driven pussies. All they care about is getting that
politics
fucking...
just drip down further into...
They just want that pat on the back from Congress and that next promotion.
There's only one person that should be halfway political. That's the Joint Chief.
Yeah, that's because he's an advisor.
That's it.
He's not in the chain
Outside of that, everybody else should be like, what do they make like politicians do for their businesses if they're in, like, they have to wall them off or something?
Yeah, you have to put them in a blind trust usually.
But there has to be a wall where you don't know what's going on in it,
correct.
right? Like some type of wall.
Well, no, there's no law that says you have to do that.
People do it. It's in the best interest, though.
People do it, but there's no law that says Congress can't use.
There should be the same thing with their military to Congress.
Yeah. I mean, I think there should be a moratorium. You should not be allowed to work in the defense industry after serving in the military. There's a reason that there is civilian control of the military. And when you take members of the military in high-ranking positions that have influence over that organization and then put them into the civilian sector for it, what do you think is going to happen there? You don't fucking mix those two things.
100%.
It's oil and water. We did all that for a reason. So now all of these institutions, the military, the General Officer Corps in particular, all of these local politicians who are trying to defund police, now healthcare people who are fucking driving people out with these mandates and shit like that. Now remember last year, the whole thing with get vaccinated because you're not going to go to the hospital. That was the next excuse. Because if you're not going to go to the hospital, then our hospitals won't get overrun and the healthcare system will be fine, right? Got it. Okay, cool. So what are we going to do now? Let's fire 20% of our fucking hospital workers because they don't want to get a vaccine. It makes sense, right?
In a pandemic.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking stupid.
Right? Like, we don't have enough people. Our hospitals are being overran. And that was why we were all being... So check this out.
That was the whole narrative.
Do you think, just a quick estimation, you're a gambler. Do you think that they're going to use this when they fire these 15%? Do you think they'll use this to justify putting us back in a lockdown?
They'll try, yeah. Because
the hospitals will be
overrun, man. We can't afford it.
Figure it out.
Dianne Feinstein actually is proposing a bill next week that will have a vaccination, negative test, or antibody test mandate to do any kind of domestic air travel during the holidays, right? Which is interesting because it's the first time any of these legislators have even mentioned natural immunity. So that's interesting. That means that process is working. Keep talking
It'll
about
never
it.
pass.
That's what that means. No, they won't be able to pass that through
No.
the Senate, but what it means that she inferred natural immunity as part of her bill is that you guys out there talking about it is working.
Yeah.
Because these people can't deny this shit anymore. We have a couple more stories here. But before we do that, let's talk about Ghostbed.
Let me tell you about Ghostbed. You know, the one thing you can't get immunity to, and that's back pain and overheating while you sleep.
Yeah, no shit.
No immunity for that, but I'll tell you what you can get for it is a fucking Ghostbed. You know, with their cooling technology, they've had this bundle sale going on 40% since Labor Day. Just because, you know what, they're just a badass company that loves helping people get good rest. Go over, check out their reviews. You won't be disappointed when you see the reviews. Just so interesting. They have cooling technology, so if you're a fat ass like me and you sleep and live in Texas heat, they got the cooling sheets, they got the cooling pillowcases. They have the mattress protector that is so awesome, especially if you're like Giorgio and you are nasty. Get wild, buck wild. Yeah, so you got 20 years money back, no questions asked warranty.
101 days you can try that bitch.
101 nights you can go in there and puzzle in that thing. And then, you know, so if you like to do puzzles and you're slow at it, 101 nights to get that puzzle done, that 250 piecer. Got pay-as-you-go, 36 months pay-as-you-go financing. Go check them out at ghostbed.com/drinkingbros. That's ghostbed.com/drinkingbros.
Yeah.
And Giorgio, you're my hero.
Grab yourself some Cardimax too while you're at it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the only thing, you know, that is stronger than
crystal meth
and immunity. So imagine if you get COVID, you automatically have that, right? You what is it called? The antibodies, right?
Yeah.
So the only thing that's more powerful than antibodies on meth is fucking Cardimax. And I'm a doctor, and I don't know of anyone dying that has drank in Cardimax immunity and has died from honestly, that has died from anything.
I've been drinking it pretty much every day for a while now, and I'm not dead.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, seriously, like I drink Cardimax immunity booster.
Go to Cardimax
every single day.
Use the promo code American, and you will be invincible from death. That's just how it is. Giorgio, can you confirm that?
Well, I mean, are we?
I can't confirm that.
Are we allowed? I don't know if we're supposed to say this or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and get it out here on the air. I know this was top secret undercover, but the Avengers drink Cardimax immunity booster.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that Captain Marvel got her powers from some alien shit blowing up. It turns out that it was Cardimax this whole time.
Yeah,
but you know, Disney owns Marvel now, and they're a bunch of fucking assholes.
Well,
so they're not going to let it out.
No,
they want it to be their secret sauce, but Disney's lying to you. It's Cardimax.com. Use the promo code American. Don't be an asshole.
And help you achieve your
climax.
Max.
Well, whatever. So the collapse of the Afghan military and the collapse of the government were linked in response to a question from Senator Tim Kaine about the speed and collapse of both the civilian and military government. McKenzie confirmed the two were completely linked. Stated by McKenzie, the disillusion of Afghan military forces during the U.S. withdrawal came down to, quote, will to combat and fighting spirit, end quote. Not the fact that we removed all of their fucking air support.
No.
And just left them there without any fucking... God damn it.
Well, I love how people say they're surprised.
Yeah. No, they were not surprised. I mean, they say they're surprised. So McKenzie, in the same breath, will say, well, we wanted to keep 2,500 people there, but the administration decided against it. But we're surprised that they lost the will and fighting power. Like, we abandoned them, and we were surprised that they collapsed. In the same statement. God damn it, man. McKenzie also said that the Doha Agreement exacerbated the problem due to the fact that Afghan forces felt the decision was forced on them. He went on to say, when the Afghan president leaves suddenly in the middle of a campaign for the capital, I think that finishes any chance at all you might have had of making a stand. I think all those came together at a very powerful negative synergy towards the end. That is probably correct. That former Afghan president is a coward, and I hope that dude dies alone somewhere because he abandoned his fucking people, and he deserves to die alone and absolute fear and pain. Fuck him.
Fucking garbage.
The U.S. is still, by the way, working to evacuate American citizens.
Still. Now, is the U.S. or is private citizens?
It's mostly friends of ours.
Yeah.
Not La Cosa Nostra.
And they're having to work against the government that they are rescuing these people for.
Yeah, if you have any questions about that, just watch yesterday's Drinking Bros with Tim Kennedy. In his opening statements, Lloyd Austin said the U.S. is still working to get Americans out who wish to leave.
Same thing.
Why do they keep saying that? People who wish to leave. Nobody is trying to stay there, dude. Jesus fucking Christ. Do you know how many calls we've gotten between just the two of us from people either there or people who know people there that are like, please fucking help us.
Yeah.
We got to get out of here.
Hey, you can stay in a Taliban-controlled Afghanistan, or you can come to the United States.
My family, my 14-person family, is staying in a one-room building in Kabul waiting for something good to happen right now, hiding from the Taliban. That's what I heard. Okay, cool, man. That's dope.
Yeah,
They wish to leave. God, that is like the inverse of the forcible rape bullshit.
How do we get
the Republicans used to say? Like, there's no forcible or unforcible. Rape is rape.
Rape is rape.
Motherfucker, get out of here with that bullshit.
Yeah.
Austin also said, we did not get out all of our Afghan allies enrolled in the SIV program. Non-combat evacuations remain among the most challenging military operations, even in the best of circumstances. Maybe if McKenzie and the Biden administration had accepted control of Kabul, stayed there the Taliban offered it to them. In 2 weeks, we could have evacuated everybody we wanted to. Austin claimed that the troops who were on the ground were able to quickly evacuate Americans and Afghan allies because of pre-planning. Dude, it was a shit show. They had to deploy. This right here is one that I think that Austin should be tried for. This is absolute perjury, because he was a commander at the 18th Airborne Corps. He was in charge of the DRF. So the Division Ready Force is one unit from the 82nd and usually a backup from like 10th Mountain or 3rd ID or one of these other units. It's 18th Airborne Corps that runs all that shit. And they're the ones that schedule and then deploy the Division Ready Force. Division Ready Force is meant to be a quick reaction force globally. Within 18 hours, we deploy, we jump in somewhere or we land somewhere and fuck shit up. That's what happened here. The fucking Marine Mew showed up, and the goddamn 82nd Airborne showed up. The DRF one showed up. That was not pre-planning. That is a breaking case of fucking emergency. This is a lie, an absolute lie.
Again though, can you tell me where the shift went from us fucking pounding the Taliban's ass with fucking rounds to them telling us what to do?
Yeah, I don't know.
It
was whenever fucking Milley and Austin and all these guys got into power, because they've been taking poundings for years, apparently.
Yeah.
U.S. forces were able to evacuate more than 124,000 people, with an average of 7,000 people being evacuated per day. Austin did admit, by the way, 3 million people, I think, travel through the air in the United States every year. 3,000 planes take off and land somewhere in the United States every single day. But we got 7,000 total people out per day there.
Well, I mean,
but if you kidding me, dude?
If you put 4 people.
Jesus Christ. Well, I mean, look, that Colonel Donahue guy, remember him from the 82nd Airborne?
Yeah.
The one that I told you was really not happy with Tim Kennedy because Tim was doing the job that he couldn't do. Apparently, he cleared out one of the planes and put on some fucking war memorabilia, a technical with a fucking anti-aircraft gun on the back of it. You can go look that story up on the fucking news right now if you can find it anywhere. Austin did admit that the U.S. was not prepared for the swift takeover of Afghanistan by the Taliban, saying, the fact that the Afghan army we and our partners trained simply melted away, in many cases without firing a shot, took us all by surprise. It would be dishonest to claim otherwise.
Well,
that is another lie.
Well,
we went through the whole fucking timeline about a month ago about how the Afghan army was losing ground by the time they announced all this bullshit.
Well,
right? 42% of the entire country was already controlled by the Taliban by the time this evacuation started.
And Dan, to be fair though, just to be fair, I mean, I don't think that that he has any. I mean, if he had anyone that was in a private and above, private to a NCO, he could have asked any of them, and they could have told him that it was going to fall this fast.
Yeah.
Whoever had boots on the ground with them.
Anybody that's had to train these dicks, but anybody that understands how warfare works as well. You take out somebody's air superiority in a situation like that, something they've depended on forever. it's like you never train your private how to use a compass. You just let him have a GPS, and then you break his GPS and put him in the woods. He's never finding his way out of there.
Nope. This next one is a full-on lie.
Oh, yeah, this is nonsense. Senator Joe Manchin spoke to Lloyd Austin regarding images of Taliban fighters wearing and using U.S. equipment. Austin replied that all the equipment that we had used was retrograded by General Miller, that's General Austin Miller, as part of the drawdown. The equipment that the Afghan security forces had as Taliban took over is the equipment that you see. So we were arming the Afghan army with the most state-of-the-art optics on M4s.
Yeah.
No, we weren't. They have AK-47s.
Oh, yeah. No. Well,
they
no.
have AK-47s.
Well, no. So I will say, when I was there in 2009, I was part of the Soviet to NATO transition. So
why did we do that? By the way, 5.56 sucks.
Well, that was one of the biggest problems in Ganjgal that I was part of. Is we had just transitioned them like 2 weeks before, so they didn't understand how to reload their shit. They didn't understand like they just threw their they couldn't get their shit together, so they just actually threw their weapons down, and said fuck it because they weren't used to them, right? Like they were used to their AKs. Dude, I was on the side of a mountain one time. We had just their NCOs got M203s. So we were on the side of the mountain, and I told them, I said, and now you could, we were advisors to them, so we couldn't tell them what to do because it was their gear. Right. So I told them, I said, hey, don't take these 203s out yet. Wait till we do some training on it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're good.
We're good. Off or what?
Oh, it's better. So we go out, and we're on the side of this mountain, and dude, we start getting lit up on this hill, and it was actually September 18th of 2009. I remember the exact day, and so the guys I was like, shoot your 203s, right? Like I start telling them, shoot your 203s up there, dude. They start shooting you here, dunk, 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 just all the NCOs launching them, and all of a sudden I look up, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Was it all flares or some shit?
No, bro, it was like all orange dust. They were shooting training rounds at the fucking Taliban. Yeah. So that was what Austin thought was gonna hold up over there.
Jesus Christ.
You know what I mean?
A fucking idiot.
And then they thought that their 203s were junk.
Well, we've seen them flying planes around or helicopters around.
Yeah, but that's Iranians.
We've seen them with all kinds of tech. We've seen them with optics and stuff like that. The presumption from the statement that they're making here is that was all equipment left to the Afghan army. $89 billion worth, apparently, right? So at what point during this breakdown of the plan that was done by General Austin Miller, which we'll get to in a second, at what point during the breakdown and the failure of this plan did they say, hey, all this equipment that we left, the Taliban's just going to go and grab it. Maybe we should fucking melt this shit down. We've got plenty of thermite, I'm sure.
Well, right? Did you see where where generals made the guys go back and take away, take down and scrub down the spray paint where they painted fuck you and all that?
Yeah, they had to clean out the airport.
Yeah.
So this is some news that I hadn't heard before either. General Austin Miller planned this entire evacuation. So when asked by Elizabeth Warren who was responsible for designing the evacuation of Afghanistan, Lloyd Austin pointed to former leader of CENTCOM, General Austin Miller. The defense secretary went on to say once Biden made the decision, then of course from a military perspective, in terms of the retrograde of the people and equipment, the planning was done by Central Command and certainly principally by General Miller. Austin also said that Biden followed his advice executing the evacuation plan and gave him the resources he needed in response to questioning from Warren. So they wait. I don't think Austin Miller was there. I'll
tell you who CENTCOM is.
Well, yeah, I know who it is now. It's what's his nuts?
McKenzie. So who was? Let me ask you this.
McKenzie would have certainly been his deputy, right?
Who the fuck was in charge when we started pulling out? Who was in the role then?
Yeah. Did you not upgrade your plan? Like you just trusted the old guy's plan. This is what this whole administration is doing.
Accountability.
Right, every time anybody questions some negative action,
it's the person before them.
Fucking Trump did it.
God damn, Trump did it.
Must have been Trump. Like, take some fucking responsibility, dude. And I think the real interesting statement here is that Lloyd Austin is saying that the Biden administration gave Central Command everything it needed to execute this operation. That's what he said under oath. And they still fucked it up that bad, or did they not ask for enough? Either way, these people should be fucking fired.
Either way,
at the very least.
Either way, they are responsible. They're in charge. They have the power. With the power comes the responsibility, period. I don't care who came before you. I don't care who's coming after you. I don't care that, your dad was an alcoholic, and I don't care that your mom fucking beat you. I don't give a fuck what happened before this. You're in the seat. You're in the driver's seat. It's your fucking problem. You went with this. You should be held accountable for it. And I don't care if you served 40 years before this. Let me tell you something right now and this is not public knowledge, but it's going to be right now. The Medal of Honor Society is giving General Milley a leadership award. They're giving them their leadership award.
Wow, I think if I were you, I would probably take my Medal of Honor and mail it back to them.
Well, so
because that makes it kind of meaningless if they're going to give an award to that piece of shit. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's garbage, man.
What the fuck, man? Jesus. That's unbelievable, considering how big of a pussy this guy is. But that's what happens. Whenever one of these top pieces of shit fucks up this badly, they don't break ranks. They all fucking circle in on each other and protect each other from the outside. Even when it's major politicians from different parties, they still try to protect each other. There have been one or two people out there talking about Hunter Biden's laptop and shit, but that should be a roar from the Congress on the Republican side. Where's that fucking information? We want it now. The President of the United States has a fucking direct family member that's compromised by a foreign government.
I'll tell you this.
That's the first thing they ask you on a fucking security clearance.
I'll tell you this. The left didn't fucking stop on Trump for 4 years.
They sure did. I mean, they fucked him up, right?
But that's what I'm saying is the left didn't stop.
No, they
never
did.
stopped.
Oh, they didn't. I thought you said they didn't stop.
No, I'm saying they didn't fucking stop.
Yeah, because he's not one of them.
Yeah.
He didn't call, his dad wasn't a politician. He hasn't been a politician for 50 years.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Whether you like him or not, that's the reason they hated him. It had nothing to do with his fucking politics.
No.
Troop recommendations conflict with Biden's previous statements, and this is what I alluded to earlier. So according to Lloyd Austin, Joe Biden was briefed on keeping a minimum troop presence of around 2,500 and 2,500 troops in Afghanistan. Austin said the advice was received by the president and that he and Milley had both endorsed the recommendation. This is contrary to what Biden has said, by the way. Directly contradicts a statement made by Biden during an interview in August with Stephanopoulos, where the president claimed that no one had advised him to keep 25 troops in the country. Austin went on to call Biden honest and forthright somehow, even though they disagree on a major piece of this.
Huge piece.
And declined to outline whether his narrative contradicted the president's because he's a fucking coward. General Lloyd Austin is a fucking coward, period. General McKenzie, who was also asked about advising the president to keep a few thousand troops in Afghanistan, replied as follows. I recommended that we maintain 2,500 troops in Afghanistan, and I also recommended earlier in the fall of 2020 that we would maintain 4,500. I also have a view that the withdrawal of those forces would lead inevitably to the collapse of the Afghan military forces and eventually the Afghan government. So CENTCOM Commander General McKenzie said that if we don't leave troops there, the Afghan government and military will collapse. And he left $90 billion worth of our shit there. Go to jail, bitch. Fucking take those stars off your fucking shoulder and put them on the table and go to jail where you fucking belong.
Yes.
When asked if Biden heard the recommendations, I don't know what the fuck that even means. McKenzie said he was present during the discussion and was, quote, confident that the president heard all the recommendations and listened to him very thoughtfully. So, is Biden lying to the American people, or do these three generals belong in prison for perjury? Maybe both, right? I would assume it's probably a little.
Well, but whose job is it? Let's go back though. Whose job is it to fucking find that answer out and to dig in and ask questions? I can tell you right now. I can tell you who. I mean, they would impeach Trump over this.
Oh yeah, I mean a couple times, right? Why not? Let's impeach everybody. Let's impeach ourselves.
I mean, fuck.
Georgia
Bill Clinton. Hold on. Bill Clinton got impeached for getting a fucking blowjob.
Yeah, but as a fat Jewish lady, maybe that had something to do.
But
with
he didn't kill anybody.
Hillary did though.
I mean, but technically, Bill got impeached for lying.
Correct.
Right?
Perjury. Yeah.
Well, What is all this?
This is perjury.
What is all this?
This is why I think
You kidding me?
I've said this before. More than term limits or any of this other stuff, I think that if you serve in government, if you get elected to an office, part of the oath of office, instead of just I swear to defend all foreign, domestic, blah blah blah, and I swear under oath that all statements I make to the public are true, period. And if you violate that, you go to fucking jail for perjury. Fuck you. Milley addressed the collapse of Afghanistan as well. He defended the military's operations during the fall of Kabul and subsequent U.S. evacuations. And by the way, even though he's not in the chain of command, he will try to refer to the military as a royal organization like the military did its job. It wasn't our fault. You know what I mean? He tries to associate himself with the military at large because people have respect for that institution.
Yeah.
No one has respect for you, you cunt. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff did concede that the operation was not without flaws, saying it is obvious the war in Afghanistan did not end in the terms we wanted with the Taliban now in power in Kabul. It came at an incredible cost of 11 Marines, 1 soldier, and a Navy corpsman. Milley was resolute that the military continues to see the Taliban as an adversary and is vigilant the threats they pose to U.S. national security now that they have assumed power in Afghanistan. In regards to the U.S. military's view on the Taliban, he said, the Taliban was and remains a terrorist organization, and they still have not broken ties with al-Qaeda, have no illusions about who we're dealing with. But you did give them a list of names of U.S. citizens and fucking green card holders, you stupid fuck. You did turn them down when they said you could have security of the place where you needed to exfil all of our people. You did that. So those two statements are incongruent. Do you think they're a terrorist organization? And if so, why the fuck did you give them the list of names and reject their offer to maintain security of the place where we needed to get our people out? Because those two things do not agree with one another. Yeah. He was confident that the U.S. would continue counterterrorism operations without a permanent presence in the country, which is a sentiment shared by Secretary Lloyd Austin. So if you want to know when exactly we lost the war on terror, it was right there with those two men. That's when it happened. When you think that whatever the fuck kind of stupid bullshit you've got going on can somehow supplant or replace decades of counterterrorism operations. That is just not how it works. Without boots on the ground, without eyeballs. We've fallen into this trap before. It happened in the late 90s. We started to rely too much on fucking low-key human intelligence backed by all this fucking signal intelligence instead of having people on the ground. Shannon Kent, by walking around in foreign countries, by the way, fucking white lady, walking around in foreign countries is responsible for the kill or capture of more terrorists than any other single intelligence asset in the history of this country because she fucking got there. She walked there, and she died for it. And these motherfuckers are saying this shit now. It's incredible.
It's crazy.
That they would have the audacity to say these things.
This is the cake. This is the icing on the cake. During the hearing, Milley was questioned about his phone calls to his Chinese counterpart, General Lee's of the People's Liberation Army. Milley largely confirmed the account in the recent book by Washington Post reporters that he'd spoken to Lee to reassure him that the U.S. would not launch a nuclear strike against Beijing. You know why he had to do that? Do you know why why China was scared? Because there was somebody in power that was strong that would you know what? I didn't like a lot of shit Trump did. Couldn't stand the guy for 2 seconds. But I'll tell you this. The people, our enemies, feared us.
I'm not a big fan of Trump either, but I am a big fan of when Russia and China are afraid of us.
Yes. Fuck yeah. But you got our generals calling them and saying, undermining the fucking the posturing of the United States.
Not only Milley calling him, but now on the flip side of all this, like in the Post, the Russian and Chinese governments know that our joint chief was maneuvering behind the scenes to remove executive control over the military. They know that this man is compromised. They know that if they convince him somehow that whoever's in power in the United States is a bigger threat to him and his fucking ideas than they are, China and Russia,
for sure,
then he'll fucking flip. This guy's got to go. He needs to be in prison at best.
Milley said the calls were generated by concerning intelligence that caused us to believe the Chinese were anticipating an attack by the United States.
So the fuck what? What are they gonna do?
They put this virus across the fucking world. I mean, like it's so fucking insane.
What did he think was gonna happen exactly?
Who gives a fuck?
Did he think that China was gonna do a first strike nuclear attack on the United States because of rumors and hearsay? Do you think they got where they are today?
No chance.
Because they overreact to shit. Are you fucking kidding me?
Milley went on to say that the calls were in full communication with the Trump administration Defense Department and that he routinely calls his Chinese counterparts, adding that such calls are critical for the security of the United States. That's not what the Defense Department for the Trump administration is saying.
No, they all said that this is bullshit.
And look, and I've never seen anybody in the Trump administration be on the same page, but they're on the same page about this.
Yeah, and it's Milley closed by saying, "I'm certain that the president did not intend to attack the Chinese. My task at the time was to de-escalate. By law, I know I am not in the chain of command, and I know that, but I am in the chain of communication. You're in the chain of communication between our military and the president. Not the fucking enemy, bitch.
Yeah.
God damn it, man. And this guy just fucking kept going.
And then he left with his fucking line. I serve at the pleasure of the president.
Yeah. So this was all about undermining Trump. That's
100%.
Right?
And it wasn't even about that. It was about Milley being relevant.
Yeah,
it was about getting himself in center. And let me ask you this: how often do you see Joint Chiefs going from left to right?
I don't know why a Joint Chief would be either.
How often do you see that? How often do you see a Joint Chief serving under both sides?
It's not common. Not common. It's also not common for a new president to come in and immediately fire all the advisory boards of the fucking military and universities, right? So the Naval Academy.
But Milley stays.
Yeah, and then Biden is trying to fire Sean Spicer from the Naval Board Academy. Yeah. He's a graduate of the Naval Academy. He's already fired a number of Megan Mobes from West Point Advisory Board and all sorts of other fucking people. It's the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. And it goes to that point. All these people are, whether it's intentional or not, doesn't matter at this point. They are willfully weakening the institutions that protect America. And they're doing so out of this 1619 woke bullshit mixed with this general cowardice. And it's coming to a head now, right? I mean, it's coming to a head. And what you're seeing, what we talked about on the last show, all these people leaving the fire service, leaving healthcare, leaving police, leaving the military, special operators leaving the military, all these people, right? All we're going to be left with are these little assholes like this stupid bitch on TikTok, this fucking E6 that still, I don't know what punishment she's received yet. Stuart Scheller's in jail permanently until he hasn't even been charged with anything. This woman, is, so far as I know, is still out there.
Yeah.
Right? And she literally threatened American citizens.
Yeah.
In uniform. And that's what they want. They want sycophants that'll do whatever they say. Here's the problem. Those yes men sycophants, they don't know how to fight. No, if they did, they wouldn't be pussies. This is the behavior of weak-willed cowardice. And those people don't have the fucking stomach to fight. Yeah. They may as well be the Afghan army.
For sure.
And as soon as this shit pops off, they'll get rolled right over in a fucking heartbeat. And you know what? See you in hell.
See you in hell.